Is this the best time of year? NFL season kicking off, college football already going, Major League Baseball playoff push. Is this the best time of year in sports?
It's a very good time of year. I'm not sure that I put anything ahead of March Madness.
But that's
listen,
one
I get it.
sport and tournament, as great as it is. That's the best for you. March Madness.
It's pretty fun.
Those 3 weeks. Wow. Okay, cool. I mean, the convergence, though, of everything we've got going.
Yeah, you've got the most kind of sporting events / sports in general.
Yeah.
And U.S. Open, there's a lot going on. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Onorato and Miller, Chris and Ash. We've got our week 1 picks against the spread. We'll do that every single week during the NFL season. We've got our NFL season predictions, division winners, wild card teams to make the playoffs. We might save a Super Bowl pick for a little bit later down the line. We'll look back at how our picks against the spread fared last year as well.
Got to give ourselves a chance. I mean,
well,
you do it now, somebody breaks a leg,
I get it.
Your Super Bowl picks out the window.
Yeah, part of the prediction process, right? And again, Major League Baseball's playoff push. There's no team hotter than the New York Mets right now in baseball. As we sit here on a Thursday night, they have closed the gap in the wild card chase. The Yankees are right in there, but all of a sudden, Aaron Judge has gone cold in the home run department. Let's go.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Alpenhaus, Marcella's, Bev's, Novice, Performance Industrial, and Saratoga Casino. Hello to Sam. Hello to Carol. Great to have you guys with us here. You're on Facebook or YouTube watching. Feel free to comment along as we go here. All right. The Chiefs and the Ravens kick things off on Thursday night on News Channel 13. If you're watching this over the weekend on TV, yes, we realize the game is already over, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that game. This is the question. Not can they, not do you will the Chiefs become the first team in the Super Bowl era to win 3 titles in a row? Isn't that amazing? No team has done it. As great as the Niners were in the 80s, the Cowboys in the 90s, the Patriots in the 2000s and beyond, never have we seen 3 in a row. A bunch of back-to-backs. Obviously, the Steelers in the 70s, I can mention them too. Never have we seen 3 in a row.
Isn't that kind of crazy? But
this is hard to do.
It's really hard to do.
So just some perspective on 3 straight titles across North American sports. Again, no NFL team has ever done it.
The World Series.
Okay, so the Yankees did it from 98 to 2000, and then they lost in 2001.
Don't remind me, thanks.
There was a team that did it also recently there, but you have the Lakers that did it.
The Astros?
I
don't think the Astros did it.
The Yankees are the most recent team to do it.
Gotcha.
Lakers did it in the NBA with Shaq and Kobe. They won 3 in a row, 2000 to 2002. The NHL hasn't seen a team do it since the Islanders won, I think, 4 in a row from 80 to 83. This is very, very rare. Will the Chiefs do it?
No. That's just my, I always say like my knee jerk, my gut kind of instinct is no, because of how hard it is. History would tell you it's not going to happen again. I think the NFL is going to be weird in a fun way this year, and that we're going to get some teams that we haven't gotten to be good. And when I say good, I mean like mediocre, like verge of playoffs good.
Okay.
But I'm excited about the NFL this year. A lot of new young talent, particularly at the QB position. So I just think we could have some teams that are like, well, they haven't been good in a while.
Could that happen? Jets have the longest postseason drought. Haven't made the playoffs since Mark Sanchez was quarterback, right? Sam got pretty good odds, though, at Rivers 20-1. And I think that's worth putting a little bit of money down on that. maybe, and we'll get to some of Aaron Rodgers' comments, that maybe Rodgers can lead this. And the defense is phenomenal, right? Okay, so Ash says some teams maybe going to surprise us this year. We'll see if her,
and I'm not
if her
saying that-
season-long predictions line up to that too. What we do know is that every year, Ash, there are 7 new playoff teams combined. AFC, NFC, 7 changes
that's
to
half.
the play.
Half of the playoff teams.
On average,
That's
7 teams new from the year before. So
pretty wild.
We'll look at our predictions and see, do we even get close to that number? I know I'm not at that number. I'm curious once I go back through it here live. Am I even close to 7? Like 5 is a reasonable number. Did I even get to
say
5?
4 or 5. But yeah, you'd have to go back and say like, okay, this team, no, this is who it would be. But yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and Sam also threw down a little bit on the Packers. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, good value picks there, the Jets and Packers. I'm with you, Ash. If you said to me right now, I'm giving you $100 to put on the Chiefs or the field, I'm going to take the field.
I generally do the same.
And that's the easy way out.
Yeah.
I get it. The Chiefs are the favorites to win it, and they should be the favorites to win it because of Patrick Mahomes. But
100%.
I'm with you. It just makes more sense here to believe it won't happen because we haven't seen it happen.
Yeah. The odds are a little bit more against it.
No team in college football has ever done it. Georgia was trying to do it this past season and didn't even make the 14 playoff. So it's just.
Are they the best team? Probably. Again. But at times people didn't think, particularly the start of the season, people didn't think that the Chiefs were the Chiefs of old, and they figured it out.
Correct.
So I think, listen,
and we doubted the Patriots many times.
You can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, but yes, the odds are not in their favor.
Pick for tonight, Ravens, Chiefs. Great game to start things.
Really
I mean, we had Lions, Chiefs last year, which was a lot of fun, and Detroit surprised a lot of people that night. Ravens, Chiefs.
Chiefs for me. Aren't we picking this game?
We're not picking this game.
Oh, good.
Me too.
Oh,
Me too on the Chiefs. The number 3.5, I don't know that I would give the points, but on a money line, I feel confident going Chiefs. All right, let's talk about Sam's Jets here. Aaron Rodgers on Thursday said this: when I take the field, I expect greatness because I've done it before. I thought this last year going into the season as I watched Hard Knocks with the Jets last offseason, and then I thought, this is exactly the type of person the New York Jets need.
Yes.
At quarterback.
I agree.
You could have a guy who plays safety. Jamal Adams was a very confident, gregarious guy, a defensive end, an offensive tackle, a running back, a wide receiver. None of that matters. This is the trigger man. The Jets haven't had a, quote, great quarterback since Joe Namath.
Yeah, I was going to say. That has to be the name because nobody else you put in the
some really good quarterbacks, Boomer Esiason, Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah,
haven't had a great, and so whether or not you like Aaron Rodgers, the air of confidence here just does something for a franchise. It did it in Green Bay where everybody rallied. This guy believes he can do anything. He shows us in practice and during the game that he can do anything. Can he do it in the right moments? We don't know. But it boosts the entire franchise here.
Yeah.
I think the Jets will make the playoffs. He's the perfect person to be a quarterback for this team.
There's no doubt. He is the perfect person to be a quarterback for this team. And I think you're right. The Jets need a little bit of a jerk. They need somebody who is going to command attention. He already has the respect. But somebody who's going to say these things and you're like, yep, you're right. Because there are times in Aaron Rodgers' career when he has been great. There's no other way to put it. Oh. He's been great. He's one of the great quarterbacks of our generation. One of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation. And I think you need that, especially with young guys. You need a guy that's going to come in and like, okay, yeah, he's a veteran. He's a little bit older. But winning doesn't always gain respect. Sometimes it takes a little bit of that, like, I'm a boss. Listen to me. I'm telling you we're going to be great. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. And sometimes you need that and you need it to wear off because the Jets have lacked confidence for the last 10 years. There has been no confidence on that team from top to bottom, start to finish. There has been a severe lack of confidence.
I mean, I think we're 14 years now without a playoff appearance. Sam does point out they had Favre, Favre,
Yeah.
For a year, and they were 8-3
They
that
were
year
good.
before Favre tore his bicep or whatever he did.
They
with that
were
right
really
arm.
good.
Yeah, they were.
And he was kind of a jerk too. It was literally like the same situation. A Packers quarterback going to the Jets, kind of a jerk, but a great all-time player. It's a very similar situation, and one that the Jets need.
Interesting week 1 game. We are not picking this one, so let's touch on it just very briefly here. I don't know how many people care about Falcons Steelers, but now that Russell Wilson has been named starter coming out of training camp, he's got a little calf issue here. And this popped up at the beginning of training camp, and Wilson missed like the first 2 weeks of practice, and now he's got tightness in that calf again. So he's iffy for week 1. Mike Tomlin didn't go too deep into it on Thursday. Maybe he'll be a game time decision or questionable leading up to kickoff. But 35 years old. This is perhaps why Pittsburgh said, hey, we need to give ourselves options, and adding Justin Fields as well as Russell Wilson. Does it matter for you who starts?
No, but
you put Fields and Wilson kind of on the same plane.
Yeah. For me, and I don't know why, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the most interesting team in the NFL this year. And it's, for me, it's not even really that close. I'm so interested to see what this team is going to be. No matter who's at the helm. I'm interested to see both of them, to be very honest. Like, I'm happy to go see Russell Wilson, and if he doesn't work out, give me Justin Fields. I want to see that dude play. And maybe it's that I more want to see Justin Fields get a legitimate shot with some really good weapons, because he had zero confidence from the coaching staff and the higher ups. He had no vote of confidence from them. Send him to a team where they want him, give him some weapons, give him a good competition at quarterback and a veteran that he can learn from. Now I want to see what that dude can do, and then tell me he can't do it. Because I've always said we've seen glimpses of Justin Fields being really, really good with his legs and his arm. Russell Wilson is a good veteran presence, and he could be a backup. He could be a starter. But for me, I think that division, the North in both AFC and the NFC, are, I think, the most interesting divisions. But I want to know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be. And I've never really watched a lot of Steelers games. I'm watching Steelers games.
Look, they're going to have great defense. They are spending more money on defense than any other team in the league. They just gave Cam Hayward a new 3-year extension. Obviously, they have TJ Watt, who's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every single year. Minka Fitzpatrick. They have it at every level.
Is TJ healthy?
Yeah. So defensively, they'll probably be good enough, and yet they could still finish 4th because that division is as good as it is.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I don't know, but we could come back and say, like, that division isn't any good at all. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's one of those strange
because
things.
I think Pittsburgh could finish under 500. I think Cleveland could take a step back as well after last year. So you're right.
The Ravens could finish on the bank. Like, those, all those teams are kind of like, you know, I think we could be very underwhelmed or overwhelmed. I think, but that's why I think that division's interesting.
College football slate, some interesting games to look at this weekend. Not a ton of ranked versus ranked. Carol's asking, are we still going to the Cuse game, Ash?
We are. This is my first Cuse game. I can't tell you how long. Maybe 10 years, maybe more.
I know you and I have never been to a Syracuse football game together. I've been to maybe a couple in my life.
It's going to be a fun time. I hope it's not rainy like they say it's going to be, because I would like to be outside on the quad. But yeah,
I think we'll be okay.
It'll be fun.
All right, let's take a quick break here on Onorato and Miller. Our week 1 picks against the spread still to come, and our season-long predictions as well. We are back in a minute.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
Alpenhaus has been your source for fun since 1964, and we're going to continue to help you make memories for years to come. It's our 60th anniversary, and we can't wait to celebrate with you. Save thousands on this Thor Motor Coach Class B RV, and check out the amazing low monthly payment on this Coachman travel trailer. With a lineup of the nation's top brands, our outfitters are sure to help you find the perfect RV for your family. Start making memories today. Alpenhaus, your total camping outfitter for 60 years.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Okay, Ash, look, we love Sam and Carol, right? They're with us every single week. So I don't know that a lot of people watching this show care that much, but Sam and Carol want to know who's going to be the new morning co-anchor.
I don't know anything about this, so this is on you.
Yeah. There's no news to share is all I can say. There's currently no news to share.
When we have it, we'll share it.
Correct.
Probably not here. It'll probably come from somewhere else.
Yes, it will. You will know before you see it on this show, and it won't be super, super soon. Let's just say that. Okay? That'll answer that question. I don't get into a lot of that stuff, right?
No.
I mean, I get that some people care. Whatever.
A lot of people care about you and what you do.
Well, not me. Not me. All right, let's get into our picks here. Hey, how did we do last year? Both over 500. Now, our graphics
I don't remember
guy,
getting beaten by 4 games last year.
John Conlon, who does such a great job for us at News Channel 13 and part of this show, sent me this, and he said, here are the records from last year. They include the playoffs and Super Bowl. Well, you and I were very tight at the end of the regular season, I remember, and there must have been some separation into the playoffs. That's all I can assume. So here we are.
Yeah, I remember playing a little bit of like Russian roulette in terms of I knew I had to catch you, so I had to pick differently, knowing that what I thought you would pick, that doesn't work out all the time.
Now, look, I mean, both over 500.
But not good.
If you looked at...
Well, you always tell me, Vegas.
If you looked at some of the records, season-long records of professional gamblers, they'll do maybe better than 47 and 45, but...
Why you gotta pick on mine?
Well, I'm just saying that
they'll do maybe better
slightly,
than...
Yeah, they might.
I'm just kidding.
But the NFL is hard. And I also like to always give us a little bit of grace because we are not choosing games based on the spreads we like. We are choosing games based on regional interest and prime time games, right? So I'm not...
These aren't the games I'm betting on my app.
I'm not saying, boy, I really like the Bengals this week. Let's put them on the slate. No, if it fits what we're trying to do here, then we do that. But that's kind of that. All right, week one. Week one.
Maybe that's my goal this year. Over 500 again.
Week one.
Cardinals,
Bills. Buffalo favored basically here by a touchdown, 6.5. You like Buffalo. Why?
I like Buffalo because the Cardinals are terrible.
Interesting. I don't think they're terrible.
Well, listen.
Go ahead.
I get it. The Kyler Murray experiment clearly isn't done there, which I didn't think it should have been. Mm-hmm. But the Bills are a better team. The Bills are a playoff team. The Cardinals are not. It's a touchdown. It's at home. Until this goes wrong, I'll believe in the Bills. I had problems with the Bills last year, if I remember correctly. I couldn't quite figure them out.
They had some big spreads they couldn't cover. Yeah. I'm on Arizona here. Weather is still good in Buffalo, obviously, early September. Kyler Murray is healthy. They were very competitive early last year with Jonathan Gannon as the head coach. They can run the ball well with Connor. Good receiving options for Murray. I think the defense has a little something to it. You will learn in my season-long predictions. I'm down on the Bills.
Yes.
I'm hedging against Buffalo this year and all that they've lost from. I know, but
very mad.
Okay. And look, I get it. My buddies who are Bills fans are going to say Stephon Diggs is addition by subtraction. Mm-hmm. Fine.
I get that.
But Matt Milano's injury is not.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's see. Yep. I'm on Arizona, not to win, but to keep this thing closer than a full touchdown. Vikings and Giants here. Giants are an underdog at home.
Home dog.
-1.5.
I started to utilize
Everybody's
your trends.
down on the Giants. Daniel Jones can't play. They let Saquon Barkley walk. How could they possibly? Okay, why are we both on the Giants?
Sam Darnold's the opposing starting quarterback. Like the starting quarterback, it's not going to wow you either way. Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, who nobody cares. But there are some good receiving options on both of those teams, namely Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors we're going to see for the first time. There are people to throw to.
Yeah.
So it could still be exciting. There could still be a lot of big plays. Home dog. Giants have the Vikings number in the recent past, and that's with Kirk Cousins, not Sam Darnold. So I'm going to keep it that way.
Biggest difference for me, I think, is going to be the pass rush. The Giants are loaded up. Thibodeau and Burns get after Darnold. I think the defense is the difference here. So Giants win, I think, a low-scoring, close one. You say maybe a lot of offense. Well, so that would be fun.
You could see some explosive plays.
Okay.
I don't know that it'll be high-scoring.
Okay, that would be fun. Titans and Bears here.
I'm not sure
minus
why I picked
4.5 Chicago. Now you're looking at this thinking, okay, makes sense. You guys have thrown the Bills and the Giants out there. Why the heck are you picking a Tennessee Chicago game? The debut of the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, is the interest here for me. How will he play? They are loaded. This roster,
I know
the roster, aside from the offense, both teams I'm going to name here have offensive line concerns. The Bears and the Eagles have 2 of the best rosters in football. And yet I hear a lot of people not picking either team to make the playoffs. The Bears roster on offense and again, other than the O-line, this is a really well-constructed roster. Do they have the quarterback and the head coach are my question mark still. But I don't think Tennessee, that city is going to be so worked up. So I'm on the Bears here at home. I think Williams has a good debut, and they cover the 4.5.
Yeah, listen, you're watching Hard Knocks. I'm not. I think that skews an opinion because you know more about the Chicago Bears than you've ever known.
Get wrapped up in the hype.
Yeah, but you know more about them than you've ever known in your whole life. You've never cared about the Bears in your life, and now it's. But you know what I mean? Like you just happen to know the ins and outs because you're watching it.
Sure.
But yes, part of it is hype. I'm not buying into the hype until I see it on the field. Listen, I get it. No Derrick Henry. There's a lot in Tennessee that is left to be desired, but they have been a more consistent team the past 5 years than Chicago has been in the past 20.
Yeah.
So until I see this Bears team come to fruition, I'm going to ride the Titans.
Bears have still never had a quarterback in franchise history to throw for 4,000 yards or more.
He might run for it.
Raiders, Chargers. Why the heck are you picking a Las Vegas, Los Angeles matchup? Jim Harbaugh's back in the NFL. That's why. So the Williams debut, the Harbaugh debut. Come on. People are talking about it. So when you said
regional, you were like, oh, I meant of interest. You said, oh, pick games, regional games. This is
or
more
primetime games
more
and
of
like the talkers.
Storylines.
Of course. Yeah.
Storylines.
And we're both on the Chargers here.
Both on the Chargers.
Gardner Minshew starting for Vegas.
Thing. No offense, but
look, it was either going to be him or Aiden O'Connell. You don't like O'Connell.
I get it. No.
Okay.
Justin Herbert, Gardner Minshew. For me, that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah. Okay. And I think almost every position on top of that, right? I mean, you could say the same thing that I said about the Bills for the Chargers when you look at the
Chargers
guys.
Have lost a lot.
Keenan Allen.
They've lost a lot.
Yeah. Austin Eckler. But
isn't Mike Williams hurt?
Mike Williams is with the Jets now.
Well, there you go.
So you're relying on, Quentin Johnston, who didn't have a great rookie year. But I do like the additions at running back that the Chargers brought in. I think they'll run the ball well here and all season long with Harbaugh. That's going to be an emphasis now with the Chargers that we haven't seen since Herbert was drafted there. So I don't think the Chargers make the playoffs, but I think they play well in year one of Harbaugh.
And I think Harbaugh is just really good at figuring out and doing the best with what he has.
Yeah.
And at the NFL level, that's all you can do. Like you can't make your roster more than what it is. And I think they'll be good. They'll be bought in.
And he's a rah-rah guy.
Brandon Staley was
rally.
completely incompetent as an NFL head coach. Yeah. So this can't be any worse than that.
Yeah. The Sunday nighter here.
This will be awesome.
Rams-Lions. This was a playoff matchup a year ago.
And
we are both, and I think Detroit won that game by a field goal, maybe by 4. I forget. It was right on the number, whatever it was. Rams and Lions here. We both like the road team.
Yeah, and this one was tough for me because I do really like the Lions
Mhm.
a lot. The Rams are getting healthy. You know, they lost Aaron Donald, but Puka Nakua, and I just think I think they're getting healthy, or they should be healthier than they were at least at the end of last year. And this could go either way. I picked the Rams.
Yeah,
but this is fun for me. I love the idea of these two. Like even the storylines last playoffs when they won. It's like 2 number ones, switch teams.
Yep.
Now love it. Love everything about it.
Yeah. And Jared Verse, our guy, is on the Rams now, right? Drafted by Los Angeles.
Replacing Mr. Donald.
Yeah, kind of in a way. I'm high on the Rams this year. Very high on the Rams. If Stafford, I know it's a huge if he's able to play the entire season, I think he plays at an MVP level. You mentioned Kupp and Nakua.
They can run the ball too.
Good old line. And then you look at the draft pick of Blake Corum to pair him with Kyron Williams. Yep. I'm high on the Rams this year. So I think the Rams, I think they win this game. But obviously Detroit should be very, very good.
Yeah.
All right. That's the Sunday nighter on News Channel 13. The Monday nighter here, Jets and Niners. I'm rethinking my pick, but I'll let you go first here. I'll stick with it, obviously, but I am certainly reconsidering it.
Yeah. I just think top to bottom, we weren't sure what the 49ers were going to look like because there was so much like, is Brandon Ayuk going to be back? And is this guy going to be back?
Trent Williams,
That all of that has fallen into place. Trent Williams just happened this week. They have all of the pieces that they wanted to have. All of these guys have long-term contracts. They're not necessarily long-term, 3 years, whatever they are. They've got all of the weapons that they had. Yeah. They're a playoff team. We talk about them as a Super Bowl potentially favorite on the NFC side. So for me, again, until they show me they can't, and until Aaron Rodgers plays more than 4 snaps, I just can't. I can't pick the Jets.
Read a stat. Rodgers is 10-0 in Monday Night Football games.
Wait, could you imagine if he comes out and wins this? Can you imagine all the hype around this team?
But he has had his issues
in the Bay. Yeah.
Against his childhood team.
Going home.
We've seen it play out with Green Bay many times at Lambeau, in the Bay, playoffs, regular season. He can't beat them. Can he do it with the Jets here? I'm starting to think yes. But you make all the points. San Francisco is loaded. Here are the picks here. We are only different in 2 games. Arizona and Chicago, Buffalo and Tennessee. Okay.
Because you're down on Buffalo. That's okay. And you're up on the Bears, which
I'm not. I just think they're better than the Titans and at home and the debut of Williams and everything that comes with that and yada, 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 yada. Shawnee watching on YouTube, Giants stink. The Giants
stinks to stink.
They'll have a top 5 pick, won't they? Patriots are really bad.
Yep. Maybe. Top 7.
So the Giants could surprise.
I mean, if you're in the bottom 5 of the league, that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Because I could name quite a few teams who should be pretty bad this year.
Yeah.
And the Giants may not be one of them.
I'm just thinking
mediocre.
You want to be bad enough.
I know, but they won't be. That'll be the kryptonite. Is like they're going to be like. They're going to be 500.
That's the other thing, though, too. Is there even a quarterback in this year's draft class that you were like, have to have him? No.
I mean, not yet. We don't.
Anybody going to reveal themselves as that?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, maybe Carson Beck, right? Just people go, okay, this guy is the prototypical drop back, big arm, big body, tall guy. Maybe. Shedeur Sanders, people are going to salivate over the statistics and the athleticism and his pedigree and all of that. But outside of those 2 guys,
no, maybe not.
Which is where Dak Prescott comes into the conversation.
Oh, you again and Dak Prescott. We're not even into that. We haven't played the first NFL game of the season yet, and you're talking about Dak Prescott playing for the Giants.
Yeah. Unless they make the playoffs, it won't be Daniel Jones next year at the quarterback, right?
Certainly will not be.
They'll get out from underneath that contract.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Back right after this on Onorato and Miller. Major League Baseball playoff chase heating up. season-long predictions in the NFL, and a look at the college football slate. That's all next. Plus, Dirty Difficult Done takes us to the U.S. Open and
the NBA.
The NBA.
And the offseason.
Plus, a really interesting, I'm fascinated by this. I will absolutely watch it. It's not pay-per-view, and you know me, I don't have a problem
paying for things.
Well, not paying for things.
Paying to watch sporting events.
What people would consider wasting money on entertainment of sorts.
What your wife would consider wasting money on.
Yeah. And so I won't have to do it for this, but I would spend a good amount of money to watch a golf event coming up in December. We'll talk about that back in a minute.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
Imagine coming home and slipping into your own personal hot tub from Wellness Spas. Our team at Alpenhaus wants to help you relax and enjoy the advantages of owning your very own hot tub. Visit us at Clifton Park Center in our newly expanded showroom on Route 30 in Amsterdam.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Okay, Ash, this one took me by surprise, but pleasantly, by pleasant surprise that we might and will get this. So in the middle of December, Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are going to play a round of golf against Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau.
Good guys,
bad
guys.
TNT. TNT has hosted similar events like this in Vegas. In the past,
did the Brady
there've been like
Rogers.
9 of them. I couldn't believe there've been as many. It was first Tiger versus Phil, remember?
Yep.
And then the quarterbacks of Brady, Rogers, Mahomes, and Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Steph Curry, was he part of one?
Yeah,
or two?
Charles Barkley was in there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, PGA Tour versus Live. As excited as I am to see it, I'm very surprised that Rory McIlroy would do this.
Why?
He has a lot to lose.
Oh.
He was the most outspoken PGA Tour player against Liv. Now, I will applaud him for his competitiveness and desire to promote the game of golf through an event like this. But if he loses with Scheffler,
who cares?
It's hard to get that one back.
No, who cares? It's all over. Live isn't even really a thing anymore. It's all one big happy family, right? Didn't we already talk about this? Like, it's done. We're all going to be combined.
Well, they talked about merging, but it's not even close to being done. Okay.
Scotty Scheffler is the greatest player on the planet.
Yes, he is. So
as long as Rory doesn't weigh him down, which is a real possibility, then they should win. And if they lose, who cares? It's 2-on-2. It's not even like a real. They don't even play it.
That makes it even more personal.
It's who cares?
Right.
It's such like a hokey You've changed the game of golf to do like match play. You know what I mean? It's just so different. I wouldn't care.
Carol's all in. Her Rory, like it. Sam is out on this. Interesting. Okay.
I'll ask a question here.
Go ahead.
Is Rory McIlroy the most overrated golfer of this generation?
Ooh.
Or like overhyped, underdelivered?
Wow.
This
really?
he felt like he was supposed to be
He's got
like
3 majors,
the next big thing, and then it's just kind of like, all right. And people talk more about Liv and what ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever he's dated. Like people talk more about that than they talk about his golf game.
Well, and when they talk about his golf game, they say he hasn't won a major in 10 years. And I mean, he blew it at the U.S. Open to DeChambeau. Oh, by the way, so that may sting a little bit too. Boy,
I mean, maybe not most, but it just feels like
Now
real.
If I say no, he isn't, I
Right.
need to have a rebuttal.
Well,
This
You
player
don't, but
is, and I don't know that I'm coming up with a better example.
I mean, like Ricky Fowler, but he's not
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy.
Fowler
like,
hasn't won a
No,
major.
never. And he's been. It was kind of like the whole Phil conversation was
second.
like finish second all the time. Ricky does that a lot too, and I get that Rory has them, but Rory McIlroy was supposed to be like the next challenger.
Okay, but you could put Jordan Spieth in that same
Sure.
conversation, right? Spieth,
But it felt like
Dustin Johnson.
For me, Spieth and McIlroy are different in that I had known of Rory McIlroy before he ever won a major. It was like this kid, the next big thing.
Okay.
Spieth, it felt like he came out and won a major, and it wasn't, but he won like his first time out and then never lost for forever. And it was like, holy cow, this kid. But I hadn't heard of him before. It was like he was gangbusters. So they feel different to me. It was like all the talk beforehand about hyping up this guy, Rory McIlroy, and that was kind of like, okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I like that he's outspoken. I like that he hates live. I like that he stands up for things. I like it. Thanks, Conlon. I think he's talking about.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and Sam says, yeah, okay. Oh boy, I was not expecting. I like, yeah. I mean, I know you say you like.
You
Rory.
like when I take stances.
So yeah, something of like, a big opinion. I like that. Who do you like in this match? Who will you pick? First of all, will you watch this?
I mean, if you're gonna watch it, I'll probably watch it. That's how this works, right?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if they're having fun, they're generally mic'd up. They can talk a little trash.
It might be.
They have
could get it could be a little chippy out there.
That I'm in on. I want some of that. Otherwise, I don't quite care so much about the results, the end results of the golf.
Yeah.
I will be rooting for Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. I said it's good guys, bad guys. Like the live guys are bad guys. That's just kind of what it's played out to be, the villains and the heroes.
And these are two guys who,
I mean, DeChambeau's obviously very
have been
unlikable.
Lightning rods, and same with Koepka. Even when you get into the Ryder
Just a
Cup
little
season,
unlikable.
people have had their kind of issues.
So I don't know either of them, so it could be perfectly fine.
How about this year for Scotty Scheffler? He's the tour champion, winning the FedEx Cup. He won the Masters. He won the Players. He won gold in Paris. 7 tour victories this year, and including that $25 million with the FedEx Cup title, $62 million on course.
Right.
On course.
Right. That's no advertisements, no anything else.
What a year. I mean, this is up there. I understand Schauffele won 2 majors. Scheffler didn't. But but if you consider
money,
the Olympics and the Tour Championship as majors, and the Players, oh, by the way, is like considered the 5th unofficial major. This guy.
Masters. Yeah.
Come on.
That's a heck of a year. And when you're talking about, I think like so many guys, you learn of their journey to make it in golf. And it's like, okay, you can come in 10th and still make a good living because the purses trickle down. But like $62 million in a year? Most professional athletes aren't making that. Like the highest paid quarterbacks aren't making $62 million a year. Maybe it's close.
Yeah.
Steph Curry just signed a 1-year extension for $62 million.
Right.
He's in the NBA.
Right.
So, and I get it. This isn't a contract. It's the more you win, the more you make. But that's life-changing money. And this is not a sport where you're going to cripple yourself playing. Like you could play this well into your 60s if you want to.
That's your Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And he's only 28.
Yeah. But I'd be retiring at 38.
Only 28.
You could play golf on your own and just never have to travel and do all that.
Pretty impressive.
No
all
doubt.
right. So Carol's got me thinking here. She says, who wrote this tag? Spelling? Is my brain not computing?
Does the I look like an L?
Oh, perhaps.
I'm not
it's
sure.
capital I with the L for
yeah.
McElroy, but the rest of it's good.
I don't know.
All right. You know me in spelling. Something's misspelled. I'm gonna fess up to it.
Or
But
crack the whip on it.
Yeah, we don't make those errors.
Yeah, he doesn't allow it.
We don't make those errors.
Well, we do. We try not to allow it to live.
Before we jump back into the NFL here, Alex Morgan says goodbye to professional soccer. What a career, huh? 5th all time in U.S. women's national team history in goals, 2 World Cup titles, and a gold. I think, to be unfair for a moment, people would look at this and say, didn't win enough on the international stage. The Olympic gold medal comes from 2012. And was left off this year's Olympic team. 2 World Cup titles, hard to argue with that. She's one of the greats. Where does she fit in with the Rapinos and Wombachs and Hams? I don't know. But maybe she's top 5. She's top 10.
Top 10.
Okay.
For sure. But listen, 5th in goals. And women, that's kind of all you need to know. Like, goals are where it's at. People don't count. They don't count assists the same exact way they do in like hockey and soccer. Or they don't care about them as much. They should. But yes, I mean, she's one of the greats, but she's top 10 for me. She's not top 5. Another person who there was a lot of talk.
Yes.
A lot of talk off the field for all kinds of reasons.
Well, I'll say the unpopular thing. She was a sex symbol in professional soccer, right? I mean, I understand we don't talk in those terms with somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, who, by the way, just became the first man to score 900 career goals. But he is a sex symbol in that sport. Alex Morgan was the same way. She was in the swimsuit issue multiple times at Sports Illustrated. Like, she can't deny that was part of her role as well. But she was also, of course, a heck of a soccer player.
Yes, top 5 in goals on the U.S. women's national team. There have been plenty of good players on that team. So she's obviously one of them.
Yeah.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill Miller, Sean Wilcoxon, Karen Miller really running the whole show. We know that. Ash, you're up first with Performance Industrial's Dirty, Difficult, Done.
I just think this is funny because Shaq doesn't feel like a guy who makes a lot of waves. And it feels like he's making a lot of waves, but I'm not sure why exactly. Like, why he keeps coming back to the well with Rudy Gobert. Like, what has Rudy done to you that you just keep raking this guy over the coals and calling him out for whatever reason? So he's on a podcast with his son. Shaq's on a podcast with his son. And his son asks, who is the worst NBA player of all time? And Shaq says Rudy Gobert.
Tweaking him.
Yeah, but why? Like, first of all, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't know of anyone else on the planet who would agree that he's the worst NBA player of all time. Number one, and I know his argument is the contract. He doesn't deserve $205 million. That's all well and good. But he earned a contract worth $205 million, which has to mean that he's not the worst NBA player of all time because he earned a contract and he's playing on an NBA team.
And there have been worse contracts.
Oh, and there have been people who just can't hack it in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, this dude was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Whether or not you agree with it, he was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. But for me, it's like, just shut up, man. Like, what is your deal with Rudy Gobert? And he doesn't deserve that contract. Okay, fine. You know what? Inflation. People have reset the bar. The dude's playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't have traded 5 first-round picks for him.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. But if the Timberwolves want to pay him crazy money, then let him pay him crazy money.
Yeah.
It just seems weird that he's picking this fight with a guy that, like, why?
Gobert struggled in the playoffs last year. Had a hard time getting on the court for France in the Olympics. But this is just Shaq.
It's
tweaking him.
It's so stupid. But it's not the first time.
No,
so
I know. There's
what
a beef.
is it about this dude
what is the beef?
that, like, pick on other people?
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people, have disliked Gobert since he was so very cavalier about COVID.
And I didn't like that
touching
either.
the mics
I didn't like it either, but it's over. Like,
yes. And look, I
he
think
apologized.
Many of us, if we were being honest, downplayed COVID at the very beginning of it all.
Sure.
And that was at the very beginning of it all. So he's not the only one.
Yeah. No, and that's not, listen, I'm not holding that against him.
I know. All right, the U.S. Open drought is done, Ash. An American man, we don't know which one yet, as we do the show on a Thursday night, will reach the final in Flushing Meadows. First time that's happened in 19 years. So we got a semifinal matchup of Francis Tiafoe and Taylor Fritz. They will play on Friday. One of those two will become the first American man to reach the U.S. Open final since Andy Roddick was there in 2006. 2006. Roddick is the last American man to win a Grand Slam, and that was the U.S. Open in 2003.
That's crazy.
He's also the last U.S. Open man to reach the final in any Grand Slam, and that was Wimbledon in 2009.
Remember how good men's
Sure.
American tennis was when we were growing up?
Sure.
And I think like that inspired people to love the sport. I didn't play tennis and I loved watching it. I loved the sport because you had Pete Sampras, you had Andre Agassi, you had Andy Roddick, all of these great American men.
Even Chang and Courier. And,
all of them.
Yeah.
The McEnroes even before that. But like,
that's the thing. People will say, hey, McEnroe.
Yep. But, and now it's like, you've just struck, and it's been great tennis. Don't get me wrong. You want to root for guys. There aren't a lot of people who love Roger Federer more than me. Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal. But to have an American to root for in a tournament, I probably would have rooted for anyone against any of those big three.
And yes, and it's just more fun at the U.S. Open, where obviously it's played on this soil, but it gets rowdy and it's late at night. Yeah. And I'm going to make you watch the 30 for 30 on Jimmy Connors at the Open. It's called This Is What They Want. It is so good, and it just stirs up all of those emotions of rooting for an American tennis player in America. It's just, it makes it more fun.
Wednesday night, I'm watching Pegula Swiatek, and she goes to throw the ball up for a serve, and she pulls it back down because of the siren. And she was like, can I just wait for the siren? And there were people who said, like, Iga has been very vocal that she likes a silent, quiet tennis atmosphere and finds it very difficult to play when there are all kinds of, and I think it was McEnroe who was like, this is New York. Like, this is what you get.
Love that. I'm not going to get into it now, but I will just make the quick thought here. I've always contended that if you just, in golf and tennis, if you just let fans be fans, the players would do just fine. They would adjust. How is it any different than the bottom of the ninth against a guy who throws 103? I'm the opposing batter, and Yankee Stadium has 45,000 people on their feet, rowdy as heck, and I'm trying to hit this moving ball. It's just where that sport has always been. It's not a matter of needing to concentrate differently than any other sport.
No, but
it's just so unusual.
Right. When that's the way it's been.
I say make it the norm.
You can't.
It would be a lot more fun.
Because like I can't go out on the golf course and have a rip roaring time.
No, I know.
And yell and scream. Like that's not allowed even at down the road at the par 3, let alone at wherever they're playing.
Yeah. I just think it would be a little more fun.
I mean, listen, in tennis, like high school tennis, college, like that's a little different. I think you can still get a little bit more noise, but people would discourage it. They discourage it.
They wouldn't like it. All right, back in a minute here on Onorato and Miller. Season-long predictions for the NFL coming up.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
Using the highest quality materials, artisanal craftsmanship, and creative design, we're ready to help bring the vacation experience to your own home. With custom-designed Legacy Edition pools, we're confident we can turn your backyard into your own personal oasis. And we'll be by your side through the whole process. Get outside this summer with Alpenhaus. Be sure to visit our brand new 16,000 square foot showroom expansion on Route 30 in Amsterdam. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Okay, Ash, I want to read this before we get into our seasonal predictions. A buddy of ours commented on the show before we went live here on Thursday night, our boy Billy Blake. Got a problem. Says, gonna order pizza and wings on Sunday. Those are a given. What does he do on top of that? Do you go mozzarella sticks or garlic knots? Is there another one out there that should be considered? That's for Sunday. Now, Billy's a big Eagles fan, so I don't know what the spread will be for Friday night watching Philadelphia and
Play your
Green Bay.
Packers.
Right. If those are the only two options on the table on top of pizza and wings, do you go mozz sticks or garlic knots? I know my answer.
Well, considering the last few times we've gotten pizza during the football season, I
Ooh.
believe we've ended up with mozz sticks quite a few times
Okay.
recently. I wouldn't say that that's like a go-to for me.
Mhm.
I don't know that there is a listen, to be quite honest with you,
Mhm.
I generally go side salad because
You
I
do.
just like to
You
veggie
do.
up my,
Yeah.
pizza and wings a
You're
little
the
bit.
healthy one. Yeah.
But yeah, I think mozz sticks. For me, the garlic knots just gets to be too much bread.
Bready,
And I
just
know
dough, a lot of dough.
mozzarella sticks is fried dough
Yeah.
and cheese, so it's all
Sometimes
pizza.
They do it just in that thin
But I mean, like, think
kind
about it.
of
It's just a different kind of pizza.
layer.
If you're dipping it in marinara sauce, different pizza.
Yeah.
I'm
a mozz sticks person.
Yeah, I like mozz sticks too.
And I like garlic knots, but I'm with you. It becomes very doughy. The pizza and the knots, it's just a lot of dough.
But yeah, I'm going salad. Sorry, Billy.
Billy.
Salad before the pizza and wings. Feels perfect.
Yeah, you have my permission, Billy, to be very disappointed in what just happened here. All right, let's talk about this very quickly. Again, this becomes kind of outdated as people watch on TV because baseball is every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Mets on a Thursday night, only a half game back of that final wild card spot. They're the hottest team in baseball with 7 straight wins. Francisco Lindor is gaining MVP momentum.
Mm-hmm.
No, he should not win it. No, it shouldn't even be close. Ohtani is going to go 50-50. I don't want to hear it. Lindor leads the Mets in every major offensive statistical category.
And the
other than
argument
home
will
runs.
be,
go ahead.
They're a bad team, and he's making he's the reason why. But the Dodgers are a very talented team.
Okay.
Without Shohei Ohtani.
Right. So I had this conversation very briefly.
Yep.
I'll make this quick.
Yep.
Friend at the station, big Mets fan,
Mhm.
one of our producers, stumping for Lindor. I said, fine.
And I wouldn't pick him, but
Marcell Ozuna should finish ahead of Francisco Lindor. His
I don't
every
like it.
every offensive number for Ozuna is better. Average, home runs, RBIs, OPS, every single number
I understand.
is better
What am I going to tell you?
that Lindor plays the field.
Correct.
So then if that argument holds water,
I
why
get it.
wouldn't Lindor be favored over Ohtani?
I get it.
Lindor plays the field, Ohtani does not. If the DH is going to be considered on an even playing field here, then Ozuna on a team that lost the reigning MVP from last year in Ronald Acuna Jr., Austin Riley's injured, Sean Murphy, the catcher, missed time, Michael Harris missed time, Ozzie Albies is injured. He has carried the lineup. Matt Olson has had a down year.
Mhm.
Now, as then Neil and I laughed later, who really cares who finishes second?
Right.
Ohtani should finish first.
Yeah.
Okay. So we
And
had a fun discussion
Ohtani steals bases.
for really no.
And Ozuna doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the idea that Ohtani eventually will play the field. He just doesn't now because he's hurt. You could essentially consider him hurt.
He'll pitch.
Yeah.
he'll
That's
pitch.
playing the field.
Yeah. All right. How important is it that the Yankees win the division?
Not important. Just get into the playoffs.
Which they
Good
will do,
God,
obviously.
it's so ridiculous. It's not going
They're going to
great.
make
No, they'll make the playoffs. Yes, they'll make the playoffs, of course.
And they're only a half game back of the Orioles
But
here
they
again
could-
on Thursday night.
They could drag their way into it and do
They could.
exactly what they've done the last few years.
They could. Judge hasn't homered in 9 straight games.
Because we called him hot, and then we called him he was on a heater, and then he was on a scorcher, and then he was
9
on the
straight
sun, and now
games.
he's off the sun.
Your AFC predictions, Ash, for the year before we wrap this thing up. We'll do a Super Bowl pick maybe, I don't know, next week.
So I
Mm.
like the Bills.
Mm.
I also like the Dolphins. I think they both get in. I'm not in on the Jets until they prove otherwise because Aaron Rodgers needs to play an entire season in order for them to do well. So I don't know who wins the division, but I think both of those teams get in out of the East. I told you how much I love the North. I'm going to take the Ravens and the Bengals out of the North, but it could get interesting with the other teams. Anyway, the Texans, I think, are kind of the sexy pick. They should be the runaway favorite to win the South, but I also would put the Jags in, and the Chiefs are a no-doubter for me.
Yeah, the Chiefs feel like the easiest.
Yep. Well, the
division,
Texans
right?
felt pretty easy to me,
Ooh,
too.
okay.
I mean, easy to pick them to win it, but
Okay.
what's your differences? What do we got here?
So here's my and Carol can get after me for this because I didn't
Oh my
catch
God.
the spelling error.
Yeah, I didn't
there.
either until I said, I think that's Myler. I don't
Yep.
run miles, so.
I like the Dolphins in the East. I'm back. I'm going back to the well. I picked Miami to win the East last year. It was sitting pretty for a while, and then they ended up with the same record as Buffalo, 11-6, but lost the tiebreak to the Bills. I'm back on Miami here. I think, again, all this hinges on
And you're off the Bills.
Tua's health, right? And I am off the Bills. I think, obviously, I have the Bills missing the playoffs here. This will be the opportunity that Bills fans have been waiting for. No, they don't want it to come at the expense of missing the postseason. Here's the opportunity to move on from Sean McDermott, which the majority of the fan base wants to see happen. You lose the division. You don't make the playoffs. There it is. Okay, so Miami wins the East. Tua stays healthy, and the defense, I think, ends up being better. And remember, they had so many injuries at the end of last year. They really didn't look like themselves. I'm with you on Baltimore. The addition of Henry, they're going to be a really tough team.
They'll be fun
In the AFC. I'm on Houston here too, and it just feels like Houston's a lot like Green Bay. A lot of people loving them this year. Ooh, I'm careful of the bubble here that they
Green
sit
Bay,
on.
just so you
And
know.
so we'll see. But Houston should be very good. Kansas City, easily. Jets, defense, full year of Rodgers, really good running back in Hall, Wilson at receiver.
You say full year of Rodgers so convincingly.
Yeah, he'll play the full year. 40 years old, oldest guy in the NFL. He's the oldest guy in the NFL.
That's pretty cool.
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Jets make the playoffs. I'm with you on the Bengals.
And the
then I've got
Colts.
the Colts here. I think if we had seen a full season from Anthony Richardson last year, we would feel differently about Indianapolis going into this year. Shane Steichen, I think, is the perfect person to bring Richardson along. And I think the Colts are my surprise this season. You said there are going to be some surprises. I've got two teams here. I've got three teams here. The Jets, Bengals, and Colts did not make the playoffs a year ago. I've got them in the postseason this year.
So we're starting off strong.
You have the Bengals as a team that did not make the playoffs last year, and the Jags missed as well, correct? So you've got two also. Okay. Here are your NFC division
Oh,
winners.
my name's still spelled wrong. Unfortunate. I'm just kidding. Eagles in the East for me. I think people are backing off of them and talking about them cooling down. I don't see it. I really like them. I also think who the heck else in that division until the Cowboys ever prove they can win. I'm going to say that they're still into the playoffs, but they're in the wild card spot. The Giants won't. I think the Giants will be okay, but they're not going to get into the playoffs. I love the North. Like I said, the Lions, I like the Lions a lot, but I also have the Packers in. I don't love the Packers as much as you because I think the hype is too much, and I just am not sure it's going to happen for them. The South was kind of weird for me. I went with the Bucks because that's kind of what happened last year. Baker got his contract. They're okay, but I don't really know who is going to be any good in that division. So I went with the Bucks because
Falcons,
it's just
that's who.
Yeah, I know that'll be yours. And then the Rams felt like an easy one for me in that division, but that division is really fun.
Easy. San Francisco.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I have them in.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Philly, a lot of noise around the Eagles. Oh, they're going to be any good. I like Philadelphia, Green Bay. Brutal schedule to start first 4 or 5 games. They could be 1-3, and everybody's selling stock on Green Bay. We'll see. Atlanta in the South. San Francisco is still the best team out west. Give me them. I got the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Rams filling it out. So the Falcons and the Rams are new additions to the postseason. That's only 5 for me.
The Rams were in last year, no?
All right, everybody. Rams were in.
Yeah, you said
Falcons. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so only 4. Okay. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching Onorato and Miller.
And now,